Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave. Offer this humble talk at the lotus feet of Jeshta Sannidhanam Jagadguru Srimad Abhinava Vidyatita Mahaswamigal, Shri Sannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswamigal, Shri Sannidhanam Jagadguru Shri Vidhushekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, offer our humble pranams at the lotus feet of the entire Avichinna Guru Parampara of Sringeri Sharadha Peetham. Pranams to Sri Sannidhanam and beseech his blessings. The Sishya is so happy also to add a welcome and happiness that this divine opportunity is given also to address before Avichinna Sishya Parampara, as we see lot of young faces assemble in the first few rows of this august gathering. Pranams to the Astikas, pranams to the Sishyas across continents watching this program. When this speech and the text was prepared, we finalized a few objectives as the middle portion of the talk and also the concluding statement. But the Sishya was searching for an opening statement to begin with. Struggling, and it remained in the vacuum. When the Sishya fell at the lotus feet of Sri Sannidhanam in the morning, in the afternoon darshanam, Acharya blessed the opening statement. And so happy to say what was conveyed as the opening statement to all of you. Acharya said, all of you have come today, a very, very unique and auspicious day. Why? Let us all exactly on the same month, exactly on the same tithi, Ekadesi, and exactly in identical circumstances, the Kumbhabhisekham which was witnessed today Acharyal, Jagadguru, Srimad, Chandrashekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal. And it is virtually a repeat telecast of, but a real telecast in life after 100 years being performed by Jagadguru Shri Vidhushekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, who is none other than our Jagadguru Srimad Chandrashekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal. It is in this auspicious moment all of us have gathered here to beseech the blessings of Acharya and speak a few words. You should know an unreported incident which connects this Sishya with Mysore and with the 33rd Acharya, and how the blessings of the Acharyal Parampara has brought this Sishya here today before all of you. It's an unreported incident. In 1895, when Jagadguru Srimad SacchidanandaSiva Abhinava Nrsimha Bharati Swamigal was doing a Vijayatra at Melmangalam, the maternal village of this Sishya, a couple during the Patna Pravesam, Tandaveshwar and Ranganayaki, placed the Purna Kumbham before the Acharya. Acharya blessed the Purna Kumbham and the couple wept. When Acharya asked why, they said, we don't have children. Please bless us with a progeny. Acharya saw them and said, it looks like a prayer made to Bhagavan Adishankara by Shiva Guru and Mata Aryamba. Let me bless you. And gave a Shivalinga called Omkareshwarar. Said, do puja to this, you will get progeny. Dear Shia assembled here and watching all over, this Pavitra Omkareshwara, which was prayed by Tandaveshwara and Ranganayaki, branched off into 4 paternal and maternal lineage. And the Shishya standing here in your august presence belongs to the maternal lineage of the 4th generation. And the first 5 houses of the 2nd street of Mil village now belongs to the paternal maternal lineage of Chandrashekhara and Ranganayaki, who were issueless before they were worshipped the 33rd Acharya, who blessed Omkareshwarar and said this should be also done puja on Shankara Jayanthi for 5 days. From 1910, Melmangalam is doing that, and even after the consecration of the Adi Shankara Bhagavatpadal's Vigraha and the Chandramaulishwara there, for these 5 days, as a Utsav Vigraham, Omkareshwara will come, wherever it is, to the sacred place for 5-day performance of Shankara Jayanthi. And today it is in Coimbatore with the paternal lineage. And the story doesn't stop there. It goes a little further to say, Acharyal and Acharyal's Padukas are no different. And this was beautifully captured by the administrator yesterday when he referred to the incident that happened in the BHU. And incidentally, I should convey the personal thanks of Sudhir Jain, who spoke to us and said that he was so touched by your 15 minutes personal talk to him, and having sent special emissaries personally to Benares to invite him. So that shows, thank you so much, sir. It's something which you have done it, and it has touched him so personally. And the way you opened up, I should just take 2 minutes to just convey this also to you, Guru Seva Nirata Shri P.A. Murli. I've been a public speaker from the 7th year, but having watched your text yesterday, and the text which you had presented today, it requires enormous effort and preparation to do it, which you have done it so well in the larger interest of the Sishyas, and would wish that both of this text gets published so that it remains in the posterity of history. So this story doesn't stop there. The Guru Padukas of SacchidanandaSiva Nrsimha Bharati Swamigal was blessed in 1910 to a family called Narayana Bhagavadar, whose grandson was yesterday honored. And from 1912 to 1962, he was performing both Aradhana and Jayanti and celebrated a Atirudram in Mayapuram, Mailadurai today in Tamil Nadu in 1962, and he expired in 1966, leaving only a daughter as an issue. And therefore, he handed over the Padukas before his demise to Shankara Vadyar in Melmangalam, and that was worshipped by him from 1966 to 1970. And in 1970, the grandson who witnessed the Atirudram at 9 years went with his family and took the Padukas, and today from 1970 to 2024, for 54 years, is performing Aradhana and Jayanti at Tenkarai. Temple for Tripura Sundari and do the Kumbhabhisekham, which late Udupar did it for us. We were so blessed that Tenkarai Shankaran was pleased to convey this holy sacred Padukas to the Kodimangalam temple for 1 full week when we did the Sadachandi and the final Kumbhabhisekham on 26th January 2011. Therefore, it is not only a maternal connect, but there is also a paternal connect through the Padukas of the 33rd Acharya to this Sishya's family. And finally, this Sishya is named as Venkatraman after his grandfather, who was called Bhagavad Venkatramayayar. It looks that it is stated to us for several generations that our maternal forefathers were court musicians in the Mysore palace. And therefore, after all this, to be here in Mysore on this auspicious day as blessed by Shri Sannidhanam, what else can a Sishya pray for in his life? As fulfilled. Now, referring to a few incidents of what has happened during the divine journey of C.C. SacchidanandaSiva Abhinava Nrsimha, Jagadguru Srimad SacchidanandaSiva Abhinava Nrsimha Swamigal. A few of them will be narrated and then I'll close the talk. The first thing that will strike anybody to present in a public forum is the divine connect Acharyal had with Sadashiva Brahmendra. And who has captured it? An independent writer by name T.P. Vinayaka Rao writes, when Acharyal was crossing Nehru, the palanquin could not proceed further. They all conveyed this with great hesitation to the Acharyal. Acharyal steps out. And Acharyal was taken, guided 3 kilometers of walk, and which ultimately ended in the Adhishthanam of Brahmendra. 3 days, except for the morning bath, Acharyal did not converse, meet, speak, or with anything, and was in deep meditation at the Adhishthanam. And on the 3rd night, it is recorded by Vinaya Rao in his text as the concluding paragraph. On the 3rd night, people who were there surrounded and watching and witnessing and praying to the Acharya heard 2 distinct voices. The voices of Brahmendra and the voice of the 33rd Acharya in deep discussion. And this follows on the 4th day. Acharya extols the greatness of Brahmendra in 45 verses. And Acharya prays to Mata Sharada and says that my Guru has promised me that you will get into the state of Brahmendra. And one more author by name Sivaramakrishnan writes an independent article and records in the last paragraph how this wish, this blessing of the 33rd Acharya gets fulfilled for the 33rd Acharya, because the 35th Acharya, Jagadguru Srimad Abhinava Vidyadita Mahaswamigal, performs an Aradhana of the 33rd Acharya at the Adhishthanam of Brahmendra. What else do we need? When it comes to the royal patronage, the famous incident and the recorded incident is this. The crown, which was blessed by our 12th Acharya Vidyaranya Maharaj, when we say our Acharya Vidyaranya Maharaj, we claim it as a pride. See, the Sishyas of Mysore for thousands of years will claim our Acharya, the 33rd Jagadguru. He's a Jagadguru for the whole spectrum, no doubt, for the whole universe. But the pride that he belongs to your place in Mysore. We have seen this for the 34th Acharya, when the residents of Shringeri will claim it so proudly. Jagadguru Srimad Chandrashekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal walked in the street. He could have sat there, he could have spoken here, he could have meditated here. The Sishyas will say that with passion. We say that with same passion, even though Vidyaranya Maharaj is a Jagadguru, he belongs to our lineage, our order of the 12th Acharya, who gave the crown to the Vijayanagara empire, which lasted for 350 years. After that, the crown was back in Shringeri. And the first visit the Mysore Maharaja makes, the book Sage Par Excellence records, 7/12/1885, when the Maharaja visits Shringeri, then 33rd Acharya says, it has been the long wished desire of my Guru that the right honor should be made to this kingdom, because it is now the Karnataka kingdom. And therefore, we adorn this as a blessing of our Guru on your head. This is what has been conveyed to them. And there are 2 slokas where our Acharya prays for the welfare of the Mysore palace and the young 2 princes. 2 slokas. When it comes to Ramnath, administrator has already said about it. When he goes to Ramnath, he finds the Rajarajeshwari temple where they are giving a Sahasra Bali in one of the Dasara days, 1,000 creatures to be killed. Which Acharya says, the book beautifully writes, he wanted to change the process, but he allowed the king to make the request. It prompted prayer. Our Mahasannidhanam has said about Prerana in several Anugraha Bhashanams. But please understand, Sishyas, Prerana comes only when there is a Guru Anugraha. It is Guru's Prerana. It is not our Prerana. Prerana comes to the human body, to the human mind, but it comes only when Guru blesses it. And it comes only as Guru Darshanam. So this Prerana prompts the king to make that request. And Acharya converts that into a Srividya Upasana. And does not stop there. He finds there are two parallel incidents. One in the divine life history of Vidyaranya Maharaj, where he took the kingdom for the welfare of the kingdom from Harihara and gave it back in 20 minutes. Likewise, he took the kingdom of Ramnad, held it and gave it the next day morning to his son, Mutturamalingdev, Setupati. Now in the case of Travancore Maharaja, the Maharaja made one fairly odd request. He said, my birth star is on a particular day. You should enter Trivandrum only on that day, for my sake. It was very inconvenient for the 33rd Acharya. He said, never mind, my Sishya wants it. I'll therefore do it for you. And he enters Trivandrum as per the request of the 33rd Acharya. Take the case of Chandramoulishwara. When in Belaguppe, when a thief stormed the house and stole several valuable articles and jewels, they also took the Ratnagarbha Ganapati and the Chandramoulishwara. For 5 days, Acharya sat in complete penance, chanting the Lakshmi Nrsimha mantra. And when the 6th day, the inspector declared on the 5th day that this has been found, Acharya, from evening 7 o'clock to the next day morning 6 o'clock, performs a non-stop puja. When it comes to Mata Sharada, he refers to, my Guru has said, this is a sloka which says so, that your divine mother is Mata Sharada. You are his divine son, and you will get the divine blessings of yoga being taught by Mata Sharada, which has 8 limbs. When it comes to the common man, and we should understand how 33rd Acharya, 125 years has been so progressive. When one of them, Sishyas, wanted to build a Dandayudapani temple, he expressed a desire. There was huge temple conflicts during that era. So he expressed a desire, I want this temple to be built so that people from all castes come and worship. Acharya blessed that. 125 years back, and said, we will lay the foundation ceremony, we will go to Rameshwaram, finish the yatra, come back and perform the Kumbhabhisekham for you. So, to cite one example in quoting Mysore as an incident, on one of the yatras, Acharya found a lady shedding tears in happiness, in joy in one corner of the crowd. Acharya spots her and traces that it is this lady who has shouldered, how blessed that lady should be, shouldered Acharya when he was 2 years old. Remembers that, calls her, gives her abundantly, blesses her abundantly, and she walks away. A 50-year-old Sishya, after marrying twice, does not get a progeny. So he comes with a will to the Sringeri Mutt and before the Acharya and says, I want to execute this will because all this property should now go to the Mutt. Acharya smiles. Mata Sharada's will is otherwise. You take it back. He says, why? Mata's will. So he puts one amendment. If I don't get issues, it will still go back to the Sringeri Mutt. He gets 3 sons and 3 daughters thereafter and lives a ripe old age. Common man, royal kings. When it comes to Maharishis, Tapasvis, and Jivan Muktas like Brahmendra, see, the connect with Brahmendra is very important because Brahmendra doesn't belong to any monk order. He is an independent Jivan Mukta. And our Acharya and our Parampara says, this is the only exception from our Avichinna Guru Parampara where we go and offer our worships at Brahmendra, even though he does not, Acharya Brahmendra does not belong to any monk order. When it comes to Rameshwaram, within that short span of 4 yatras, Acharyal has visited Rameshwaram twice. And on one of the occasions, he stayed in Dhanushkodi for 3 days and in Rameshwaram for 8 days. So, there is so much to say. I request young Sishyas to read the book, The Sage par excellence. You all hail from Mysore, and you should read it page by page to understand and assimilate the richness, the greatness, the resourcefulness, the blissfulness, and whatnot of our 33rd Acharya. My last 5-10 minutes, I have one request, one prayer to make to all of you, because it may be slightly, but there is a connect. I'm meeting Guru Seva Nirata after his assumption of office only for the first time today. And I'm referring this because there is a connect, sir. Allow me to say this. In Atmastava, in Shloka 10, the 33rd Acharya renders a 2-line verse, and the English commentary on that is so beautifully scripted. It says how Jagadguru Srimad SacchidanandaSiva Abhinava Nrsimha Bharati Mahaswamigal reveled in self, reveled in nothing but meditating on the Brahman, and says how he could reach that state and experience because he handed over 2 of his dutiable responsibilities once and for all by selecting a successor, which Shri Mahasannidhanam has done it for our benefit in 2015. And the second portion of that commentary says, by also requesting the administrative duties to be relieved and handed over, which Shri Mahasannidhanam has again blessed for all the Sishyas for continuing this tradition of handling the administrative work from the 25th January of 2024. And Shri Mahasannidhanam and the 33rd Acharya Atmastava will apply now to Shri Mahasannidhanam, totally reveled in bliss. So, you are that fortunate in assuming this. I say this with utmost sincerity about this office. It's an office which carries so much of responsibilities because it is a choice by the Acharya on you, sir. I'll make only one comparison and leave it there. When Acharya blessed our Arun Yogiraj a few weeks back and that the video came, Acharya, it's such a beautiful statement of our Acharya, worth repeating million times. He said, Yogiraj is a chosen vehicle of Bhagavan Sri Rama. Rama thought Yogiraj should carve his. And therefore, because he became his tool, he gave him all the abundant resources to him to carve it out. It is his decision. And that is why that Vigraha, whenever you see Ram Lalla, you want to see it again and again and again. That spiritual effulgence in that Vigraham comes because of divine blessing, divine choice, divine tool, and divine resources put together. Sir, we see the same thing happening to you in your life. It is a divine choice of Sri Mahasannidhanam, and in your case, with one slight variation, the resources and the blessings has first come to you, and this office has come to you little later. So you are abundantly blessed with, and therefore it will fall into place, is our thinking. And we therefore, on behalf of all the Sishyas, I couldn't participate on the 12th meeting to offer our best wishes, best prayer and thanksgiving to our Guru Seva Durina Shri Dr. V.R. Gauri Shankar, and a welcome to you, therefore using this humble opportunity to do that. Last 2 concluding statements. See, how do you conclude? The last word should remain the longest in the listener's ears. That is one of the public speaking techniques. Just read the past 2 passages of the 2 most blessed Shishyas of this Peetham who have celebrated with joy and happiness what our 33rd Acharya actually meant for all of us and for the yugas to come. One is by Guru Bhakta Shikhamani, late T.K. Balasubramaniam, and the other statement is by Jnanananda Bharati Swamigal. I hope all would recollect the blessings which Guru Bhakta Shikhamani TKB had. He was, our 33rd Acharya gave him the blessings to compile the entire material of Bhagavad Pada Shankara in 20 volumes. But the 33rd Acharya could bless only 6 volumes because he attained Videha Mutti. The balance 14 volumes also got ready by Sri late TKB. But he was not very happy that he missed the physical blessing of the 33rd Acharya. On the divine blessings of Jagadguru Srimad Chandrashekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, he takes those 14 volumes to the Adhishtanam of the 33rd Acharya at Shringeri, places it there and brings it back. That night, it was during Navaratri, that night, late T.K. Balasubramaniam had a dream where the 33rd Acharya, please listen to it carefully, the 33rd Acharya in the dream picked up important passages from the balance 14 volumes, validated it and blessed all your 20 volumes are picture perfect. For this effort, I have asked my Sishya Swamigal to give you a Vishesha Anugraha tomorrow in the Darbar. It's a dream. And therefore, late TKB goes and places with all humility, bhakti and fervor at the lotus feet of our Jagadguru Srimad Chandrashekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal and says, this is what I understand the dream to be. Our Acharya validated it. Yes, indeed, my Guru has asked me to give you this Vishesha Anugraha. So he confers that Vishesha Anugraha in the title Guru Bhakta Shikhamani and also blesses the Rudrakshamala adorned by the 33rd Acharya to him on that day. Now, Guru Bhakta Shikhamani TKB says, this is what he says about the 33rd Acharya. Just read 4 sentences. Shri T.K. Balasubramaniam, one of his sincerest devotees, says, no one was ushered into his holy presence who did not go back full of noble resolve to lead thenceforward a purer and a more exalted life. To hear of him was a pleasure. To see him was a privilege. To speak to him was a real blessing. And to be granted a special interview, that was the acme of happiness which people coveted most in all earnestness. The magnetic force of his wonderful personality was such that one word, nay, one smile, or even one look was quite enough to convert even the most indifferent of persons into his most ardent and obedient of disciples. This is the experience each one of us will be blessed today because it's 100 years repeat. Now, Jnanananda Bharata Swamigal, yet another great Sishya of this Mat, authors the first article in the Hindu paper in 1919. And the title of the article is, The Best Temple I Have Seen. It's a fairly long article. Therefore, let me read only the last paragraph. This is what Swamigal finally concludes. It is a description about a temple. And whom does he describe as temple in that article? He says, such a temple is very rare to find. And I must attribute my past karma, the very rare opportunity I have had of seeing such a temple and profiting by a pilgrimage to that. That temple, the best in the view of ordinary men, the best in the view of the learned, the devotee and the aspirant for the liberation whose external simplicity and grandeur truly reflected the inner glory, whose quiet splendor only showed the perfect equipoise within, whose external pleasantness only showed the limitless mercy within, a sight of whom was an unfolding of infinite bliss within. In every sense, the best temple I have ever seen was the divine personality of His Holiness, Sri SacchidanandaSiva Abhinava Nrsimha Bharati Mahaswamigal, the late Jagadguru of Sringeri. Well, does the Upanishad characterize the body as a temple of God? And where can we see a better Devalaya than the one I have tried to describe above? Those who have had the good fortune to share with me the happiness of seeing the temple I have spoken of will find the above description meager. And those who have not may feel it is an exaggeration, but I can well excuse them their unbelief, as no temple that they have seen can ever be a comparison with it. Last concluding words. Dear Sishyas, I had only a 5-minute talk after 4 months with our administrator and asked him, can you just dish out what is your immediate thought process? What flashes you on talking to me? Do you have any priorities? He said 3 things. I have tried to reach all the Sishyas by connecting them over phone. But it will be my endeavor after the Vardhanti as much as possible to go and visit them and seek their guidance and blessings. 2, I would like to go to the branch mutts and convene meetings and meet all the Sishyas. But 3, most important, he said, I would like to meet young Sishyas in all the branches across and try to connect them. And said, my only request to the young Sishyas is, as you own every Jagadguru of this Peetam, young Sishyas should also have a sense of belonging with the Peetam's administration. That shall be my endeavor in connecting with young Sishyas. So my request to the young Sishyas is, see nothing, you will not read or see anything unless you see something in your phone. Please connect the web portals of Sringeri Mutt first in your phone. It's the first request. And may these 3 transform and the legacy of an Avichinna Guru Parampara and an Avichinna Sishya Parampara continue forever. And let us, whenever we are reborn, that's the only prayer, whenever we are reborn, we should be the Sishyas of this great Guru Parampara. And I thank Mr. Ramachandran personally for thinking of my name to be here. But nothing will happen in Sringeri Mutt without the Purna Anugraham of Acharya. I once again surrender at the lotus feet of Shri Sannidhanam for giving this invaluable opportunity to express that here is a Sishya whose lineage is traceable to 125 years only because of the seed sown as a blessing in the life of Tandaveshwarar and Ranganayaki. Namaste to all of you. Shri Guru Bhyo.